All right, this lesson is on solving one-step equations, but this time we're going to focus on our multiplying and dividing. So you should already have these three steps at the top of your notes. These are the same three steps we use for adding and subtracting, and we're going to have that same idea. We're going to show our work on both sides of the equation. We're going to use the opposite operations. So the opposite of multiplying is to divide, or the opposite of dividing is to multiply, and then we're going to make sure we show that work on both sides of the equation. So there are three examples on the first page of your notes there. We're going to finish those three up today. The steps are the same. 4x is equal to -8. So I'm going to start by drawing my line down through my equal sign. Remember, 4x means 4 times x. So this is a multiplication problem. So to solve a multiplication problem, we want to do the opposite. We want to divide. So some of you may be more comfortable using the traditional division, but I want you to start getting more comfortable using the fraction bar. That fraction bar is another way of showing divide. But just like in our last lesson, you got to make sure you do that same thing on both sides of your equation. Okay? On the left-hand side, 4 divided by 4 becomes 1, so it just drops out, and we just have 1x or x. On the right-hand side, we do our steps. -8 divided by 4. A negative divided by a positive is a negative, so I get -2. To do my check, I'm going to plug my -2 into the equation for x. So 4 times -2. Well, 4 times -2 really is -8, which is what I wanted. So I know I did it correctly. Next one, -6m is equal to -42. Okay, here's the thing I want you to watch for. Again, -6m means -6 times m, meaning it's a multiplication problem. So we want to do the opposite, which is to divide. But make sure you divide by the whole thing that was being multiplied. Some people are going to go, oh, they multiplied by 6, so I'm going to divide by 6. Well, no, they multiplied by -6, so I'm going to divide by -6. The negative goes with it along with the number. So I'm going to do the same thing on both sides of my equation. -6 and -6 cancel each other out. Think of like simplifying fractions. If I have the same thing in the numerator and denominator, they can be divided out. And I'm just left with m. -42 divided by -6. A negative divided by negative is a positive 7. A quick check of my solution. Put the 7 back in for m. So -6 times 7. Well, a negative times a positive is a negative. 6 times 7 is 42. And I did it correctly. All right. Bottom one. This one, sometimes people think it's a fraction problem, but remember that fraction bar really just means to divide. So z divided by 3. So the opposite of dividing by 3 is going to be to multiply by 3. But just like always, we have to treat both sides of the equal sign the same. Remember, the 3's are going to cancel out because this 3 is really kind of like a 3 over 1. So I have a 3 in the numerator, a 3 in the denominator, so they cancel each other out, and I'm just left with z. -15 times 3 is -45. To do my check, I put my -45 back into the equation. -45 divided by 3. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 45 divided by 3 really is 15. All right. So on the back of the page, just like we did on Monday on our last lesson, I want you to copy down these three problems. I want you to hit pause. I want you to try them for yourself. And then when you're finished, hit play, watch me solve the problems, and see if you agree with my work. Make sure you're showing that work on both sides of the equal sign all the way down. All right, so for the first one, w divided by -4. So I always ask myself, what did they do? Well, they divided by -4. I want to do the opposite, which is the multiply by -4. But I've got to keep my equation balanced, so I do it on both sides. -4 and -4 cancel each other out. I'm left with W. 11 times -4 is -44. A quick check. -44 divided by -4. I just plugged my -44 in for W. A negative divided by a negative is a positive. 44 divided by 11, or 4 is 11. So I'm good. Next one, -12y. -12y means -12 times y. So this is a multiplication problem. Remember, to solve an equation, we want to do the opposite. We want to do the inverse operation. The opposite of multiplying is to divide by -12. But I've got to do that on both sides to keep it balanced. -12 divided by -12 turns to 1. So I get 1y, or just y. -96 divided by -12 is +8. Quick check. -12 times 8. -12 times 8 really is -96. All right, last one. -3 is equal to z divided by 8. So again, always focus on the variable. In this case, the variable is on the right-hand side. Z is over 8, meaning z is being divided by 8. So I want to do the opposite, which is to multiply times 8. But to keep the equation balanced, I'm going to do it on both sides. The 8 and 8 cancel out, and I'm left with z. 8 times -3 is -24. To do my check, I put -24 in for z, divided by 8. A negative divided by a positive is a negative. 24 divided by 8 is 3. That's what I wanted, so I know I'm good. All right, hope that makes sense. Make sure to upload a copy of your notes when you are done, and have a good day.